Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I'm your host, Veteran Mountain Man, and it's another Regulatory Tuesday. This right here is something that should be making serious mainstream news and isn't. So the judge allows the release of suspects linked in extremist Muslim compound before trial. Now, many of you might not be equating this to the situation in New Mexico, which is where there were jihadist training school shooters. That's right. The judge allowed the trainers of the school shooters to be released before their trial on bail. Now, here we go. A New Mexico judge ruled against a state prosecutor's request to detain 5 alleged Islamic extremists who were charged with child abuse after federal authorities raided their compound at the beginning of the month. Prosecutors alleged that Shiar al-Wahhab, 40, conducted weapons training at the compound, which was constructed out of garbage, where 11 children were found starving and living in squalid conditions. Reports that the prosecutor revealed on Monday were that the children who were found in the compound were both trained to use firearms and taught multiple tactics and techniques in order to kill teachers, law enforcement, and other institutions they found corrupt. Despite the push for prosecutors to hold the 5 suspects pending trial, Judge Sarah Backus cited the lack of criminal history and said that the state did not provide sufficient evidence to show that there would be a danger to the community if released. Now, these people were training terrorists. I don't really care that they were Muslims. I care that they were training terrorists, training teenagers to shoot up schools and attack first responders and attack teachers is setting them up to be terrorists. If that's what's going on, they should not be receiving bail. And the state should not be pushing for child abuse. They should be pushing for terrorism charges. The state alleges that there was a big plan afoot, but the state has not shown, to my satisfaction, by clear and convincing evidence, what that plan was. So basically, Bacchus is saying that unless they can show which schools they were going to hit, this whole thing is moot. Well, I'm sorry to say, but I think in reality, this whole thing needs to be reevaluated, and I think this needs to be taken to a new location for trial, because this is troubling. Now, Bacchus set the bail at $20,000 for each suspect and ordered that they must wear ankle monitors if released. All 5 are foreign individuals living in the United States. All Muslims, all helped construct this compound. And all of them were keeping these 5 children in these squalid, starving conditions. These 11 children in these squalid, disgusting conditions to teach them to carry out attacks. This isn't a random concept. This is a terrorist training camp. And this isn't the first one or the last one in the United States. There's one here out in the Dalles, Oregon, which is still running. Now, I remember the raids on Ruby Ridge and the Waco Branch Davidians. Those people weren't actually teaching kids to commit mass murder. But if we've got this going on at Muslim training camps, then these places need to be shut down. Now, I know not all of them are doing this, and the ones that aren't, I don't really care about. If they're not teaching people to mass murder, and they're not forcing children to live in basically S-hole compounds to teach them to be angry at the United States and kill people, then I really don't care what they're doing. Because I don't really care what my neighbor does, as long as it doesn't pick my pocket or break my leg. But when they are forcing children to live in an S-hole compound and are teaching them to become mass shooters, That is a problem I have. And this needs to stop. Okay? This is not something that is somewhat permissible. We need to be more careful about this, because this will harm Americans. This is not some ethereal concept. This is not, well, this 15-year-old was taken out and taught to shoot by his dad. These kids were receiving extensive training on how to do this. And the fact that they were shows that these people were planning on trying to convince them to do this in order to harm America. And we can't continue to tolerate this kind of behavior. This is part of the problem. This is the reason we have people trying to grab guns. So we've got crazies like this doing this stuff. So we actually need to deal with this kind of stuff when we find it, which means that these people need to be up on terrorist training camp charges. These poor kids need to be brought into the foster children system and deprogrammed so that they don't go on a school shooting or go on a massive rampage in a public area. Well, I just wanted to show you what some of the judicial activism in this country looks like. And apparently it's even happening in New Mexico, which is a state that was very red, which has gone very blue due to demographic replacement. Well, thank you all again for joining me. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I will include a link to the Daily Wire article down below. You can find this information, though, all over the internet. This is not being kept quiet. It is, however, being ignored by the leftist mainstream media. So you might have to actually do a little digging. I know that Fox is carrying it. I know Daily Wire is carrying it. I know Breitbart is carrying it. So you can find it. But it is not being talked about as much as it should. And we really need to get the word out. Thank you all, and have yourselves a great day.